Hey Internet, Swag here. CV2 has gotten a content update, including the lock screen here behind me. Now we're gonna do a tutorial with this thing, but before that, let's check out what else is new. Before we get to work with CV2, we have to turn CV2 on, which is done in this room, settings, room settings, general setup, second page, and allow creative tools beta content. Apply settings. Make sure you know what you're doing. This makes it so that you can't save inventions in this room anymore. And if you press OK, it will save. And now, in your make pen, in your palette, it should show the Circuits V2 tab. Here we have the new Point Light CV2 and Spotlight CV2, so you can now integrate your lighting into your CV2 logic setups. With all the familiar input pins of set color, set range, and set intensity, as well as the set angle for your spotlight, it has all the functionalities that you are used to from your CV1 light bulbs. The emitter V2 comes with all its old and familiar pins: on, off, size, speed, color, and its loop function is now a pin as well, instead of a configuration option. Over here is a copy of all the inputs in chip form. Don't forget to link the yellow output to any of the yellow inputs if you plan on using them. The long-awaited text gadget has made its way to CV2. No longer are we fiddling around with 5 pre-made texts that need to be specified with a number value in CV1, or forced to use the text on buttons in CV2 if we want to display text values. Text can be set with a string value, and color and material are still customizable with a number value. On the other side here we have all the inputs in chip form for those big builds where just one input won't cut it. And here behind me we have the new Logscreen. It comes with its own Logscreen chip, which allows you to display lines of text on the board if you input them here and give an execution. Now the displays are instanced, so different people can see different things on the log. But of course, this is CV2, so there are ways to fix that. So let's dive into it as we build a chat box with the new log screen in CV2. We require in props dynamic a log screen. While we are in dynamic props, a button V2. And let's get that to say enter text. There we go. Now to enter text, we want a prompt local player chip and a log string. Now if we press the button, it gives us a prompt. When it's complete, take the response and log that string. Now basically, this is all you need as long as you keep it single player. I can type anything and it will show on the log screen. It's looking a bit boring. So the first thing that I want to do is add my name to it. For that we get a get local player and a toString. Get local player will get the value of the player who is running the instance, and the string will turn that value into a string value. In other words, it will turn the player value into the player name. Now to add those two together, we require a There it is. String format. Our format configure. Our format is pin number 1, semicolon, space, pin number 2. And I know this says 0 and 1 because it starts at 0, everything shoves over by 1. Don't worry about it. Now instead of configuring the pin, we will configure the chip itself, add an input, and value 1, which is the player name, will be followed up by value 2, which is the response, or in other words, the chat message. We will wire that into a log string. You can see if I enter text now, 456, will say my name. Excellent. Now the problem with this setup is, if we press this button and there are other players in the room, every player will get prompted. Because on everyone's system, this prompt local player, so everyone is their own local player, prompt local player will get an execution from the button, because button executions are synced. So we are going to have to single this out. And to do that, we get a player is local chip, and wire that to see if the player that pressed the button is local. And we use an if chip to see if player is local is true. If it is true, then put through the execution, and otherwise discard it. So now everyone, once we press this button, everyone in the room will have an execution sent to their version of their if chip. Only on the system of the player that pressed the button will player is local be true. Therefore, only for their instance of this setup will the execution continue past the if chip, making it so that they are the only player that gets prompted when this button is pressed. The one problem remaining is that our log screen is instanced as well, which means that this log string will log for this local player. So we are going to have to make that synchronized again. And to do that, we are going to need a new event. This event is called chat event, and we will add the property of a string. Now we are going to require a event receiver and a synchronized event sender. These, oh goodness, string message create, there we go, chat event and chat event. Now we are basically going to upload our instanced text into a synchronized event so that it will send this data, it will play this event, even though it originates from a single player. It will send it out to everyone's event receiver, so that when it plays on everyone's log string chip and displays on everyone's log screen. There we go. Now if you found all that talk about synced and instanced a bit confusing, want to talk circuitry with other circuiteers, or just come and see what other people are building with CV2, you can come by the Circuit Think Tank every Thursday and Saturday. Invite to go out through the Creative Club, link in the description. But for now, I hope you use your newfound knowledge wisely, and to see you in the next one. Bye!